Was that we both read the book very quickly. It's like eating like a sandwich. It races through the book. And then we sat together and tried to do the painful process of redaction, which is where you figure out what we need to tell the story, what makes a beautiful thing on the page as you're reading the book, but how do you actually follow that? So it's quite painful actually to figure out the scenes that will tell the story. And that's sort of where Jonathan's expertise as a dramaturgist was kind of at the forefront, to figure out how to tell the story.
Pretty foolhardy thing to try and do to turn this into anything, because it's such a kind of thing in itself. It's a novel, it's a piece of literature, you know. You can do things with a piece of literature that you can't really do often on stage, but weirdly, I don't know, a mixture of kind of diligence and hard work and the fact that we're both detail freaks and that we're insane gave us this kind of hubris to go ahead and try and attempt it. So that's kind of what we did. One of the best things that one writes, you don't know what they mean. The shittest scenes are where you sit down and think, this is the scene that will embody a certain idea. Then it's just dead in the water. It feels like agit-prop. It feels like you're trying to make a point. The mysterious stuff is always the best stuff that you don't even know yourself. And I said that to Andreas, and he just, yeah, exactly. He just kind of go, okay, fair enough, I see what you mean. We'll go with that.
One concept that we kept in our minds was to make it very easy to produce, to keep the stage very simple. My first opera was done once in Cleveland with huge sets and everything, and then it was done again in Fort Worth with nothing on the stage, nothing. And guess which one was better? And part of Jonathan's thing as a director is achieving a lot with a little. And what that means is that it's very stageable, and we use simple elements, and you know, with projections and the technology that you have these days, we don't need to be moving sets around. So our scene changes, it's kind of hard to lay out as a normal play with Act 1, Scene 2. Scene 2 is 3 lines of dialogue, and then we can change and we're out in an exterior now.
It needed a set, Stuart's absolutely right, it needed a set that lent itself to the quick episodic nature of the dramaturgy. We're in one scene, we're in another. It's kind of filmic in some ways, so we needed a fluidity. We couldn't have a whole bunch of scenes. It's a cost thing, of course, but we couldn't have a whole bunch of stuff flying in, flying out. The piece that's been written, and there's the actors, and there's some lighting. And that's what finds you out. If the piece itself is good, hopefully, God willing, whatever, if that's good, then hopefully everything else falls into place. But I think audiences are clever. They sense when there's something going on, or you're just kind of pretty something up. If the actual content of it isn't working. So I basically had to cast, like when you cast a team of people to work on something, lighting designer, projection, all that. It's like casting the actors or the singers on something. So you'll go for someone who has a sense of what you're trying to find in terms of the language that's kind of in your mind and what you want. And I've really lucked out with the team we have here. You know, Alan Moroka, the set designer, Gianni Manis, the costume designer, Adam Fleming, the projection designer, and David Jaquez, the lighting designer. All of whom are extremely clever and do good work. But crucially, they were going to be on the same page aesthetically.